Howdy, it's Jim Morado. This is very late March 2021. We are hanging out at Spring Mill State Park in Mitchell, Indiana. And this is us just kind of getting there on a recent little weekend trip we took. We actually stayed at the lodge. We spent the night there and just had a nice little weekend trip where we hung out at Spring Mill State Park. And this is just a nice little state park. It's got a pretty big wallop for a small little state park in Indiana. I'll put up other videos, but they have the Spring Mill Inn, which is a little historic inn built. I think it's around 90 years old, which is pretty cool. They've got a little kind of retro pioneer village kind of thing. Lots of trails to walk. In fact, we'll talk about this one since we kind of did this early on. This is we're taking a little hike on the Donaldson Cave Trail, and this I don't know. I just thought this was really pretty, really nice. There's this nice little wooden stairway going down, and I'm not going to film the entire time that we go down, but I wanted you to have an idea of this. And it's actually, you take, the stairway goes down, and I counted them on the way back up. Always count the stairs on the way back up. It was right around 210, 215 steps. So just always remember when you're going down steps like this, there's 215 down and 215 up. So I was pretty, the steps alone will get you, but it's still a pretty little hike, and you're going down towards a cave. We actually got down to the bottom. I don't think we were very far from the cave, but we decided not to go all the way to the cave because it gets a little iffy at the bottom. Yeah, so we get down towards the bottom. There's some nice little paved paths to walk, and we're walking through here, and just a really nice little stream. Just a fun little hike down through here anyway. But yeah, we got down here, and I believe as you're kind of looking out that way, the path sort of ends, and you sort of have to kind of maneuver up and over some kind of slidey, slopey stuff there. And in fact, in the distance, you can barely see. There's a hiker that's already done some of this. They were using walking sticks and actually making. I think we're covering some ground. Yeah, they're in the background there. But yeah, the ground was a little wet. I definitely was not wearing hiking shoes this particular day. But if you want to continue this hike to get to the cave, you've got to navigate some kind of iffy terrain. In fact, there's a little couple right there. I believe a dad and a daughter, or niece or granddaughter or whatever. They're trying to hike it, and she was slipping all over the place. They were still doing a lot better than I would have done, and I tip my hat to them for giving it a try. But yeah, it was. The hike to get to the cave was a little. We decided to try that again. We'll try that again on another day. But we still hiked around and just had this great view. And there are actually, I want to say, five caves here in the park. And I'm not sure exactly. I think you have to have a permit to actually go into the caves. But yeah, I mean, then there's lots of trails, lots of nice little trails like this. And we did not, so we did not get to experience any of the caves on this particular day. They also do a boat ride into a cave. But I think they pretty much do that during their main tourist season, which is April through October. And again, we were there in late March, so I think it was kind of right before everything was starting up again. I know the inn was sold out, but I know they'd cut off some of the floors, so I think they'd kind of squeezed everybody onto a floor or two. Yeah, I definitely want to come back to at least do their little boat ride into a cave. I think that just sounds like a lot of fun. But there are several caves here, and it would be nice to get to at least look at those caves at some point in the near future. So, but yeah, we drove down after work one particular on a recent Friday. We stayed the night. Yeah, just kind of came out here. And Mitchell's a neat little town. You know what? I filmed some of Mitchell too, so I'll put some of that up later. There's a Subway in town that's I think it's in an old Wendy's, or maybe an old Dairy Queen. It's kind of an odd-looking Subway. We stopped and we got lunch. We came and ate it in the park. It was $9 a car to get into the park if you're from out of state. I know Indiana with their state parks, they've got some weird. They're going to charge you a little more if you're from out of state. So, and that's just how they are in Indiana. Be careful too. I know coming over from Louisville, Indiana, I've seen a ton of speed traps. So you always, be careful if you're coming over from Kentucky and going into Indiana, especially through Louisville. The cops, they sure like to give tickets to people from Kentucky too. But Indiana's still a great state. I do like it a lot. Over to the left, where we just passed, I know the last time we came to the park, we stopped over there and had a little picnic lunch, and it was really nice. And yeah, this again is just a neat little park. And you get a whole lot for your money at this particular state park. And again, I'm going to put up videos of the other stuff I mentioned. But there is a grist mill, a little pioneer village / grist mill. The grist mill was constructed in 1817, and they've got some old historic buildings around it. And during their normal visitor time of the year, they usually have little pioneer actors in there and stuff. It was still open when we came this particular day, but it just wasn't up and running like a little town like I've seen it before. And we stopped at this little cemetery, and it's just a little locals were buried here, and there's a little bit of history on that sign, mostly talking about burial customs and some of the stones you might see there back in the 1800s. But just a nice little cemetery. Yeah, it's definitely, if you're in the park, it's definitely a nice one to stop at and kind of look around. Some little maintenance fellows were there while we were there. Just a nice old cemetery. Always pleasant to stop by and check things out. Yeah, so they also have the Pioneer Village, and another thing that they have that kind of caught my attention originally when we first came to the state park is they have a Gus Grissom Museum. The late astronaut Gus Grissom, very early pioneering astronaut, who actually died during one of the trainings, is from this area, and they have a great museum devoted to him with some unbelievable space relics relating to his career in NASA. And it's it's right when you pay your money to go into the park. It's right beside the little booth where they take the money from you. They have that Gus Grissom Museum. And again, like I said, I'll put another video up about that Gus Grissom Museum. It's great. And driving through the park a little more, as you can look around and see, it's just a real pretty park. And I would read that they must have given me 5 different brochures for the place. There's one for the park, one for the Pioneer Village, the Gus Grissom Museum. There's a little newspaper they gave us. There's literature about it, but at the end of the day, this is just a nice park to drive through and to take their little trails as we did earlier, to have a picnic lunch, go to the Pioneer Village. It's just very, very nice. Yeah, we drove through. I know that there's a pool and some sports courts down here. that I'm sure are a little more hopping as the season gets going. And actually, I think we were down here when we checked into the hotel. They mentioned that it was spring break. I don't know if it was the local school, high schools. They mentioned that they were kind of crowded in the inn because of spring break. Obviously, nobody was out at the courts or at the pool, but we drove down there just to look at it. And I thought, well, this would be nice, especially during the summer. But yeah, just nobody was down there. And they do have a little camping area. We're not camping people. I'd like to try more of that, though. I did some of that when I was younger. But, in my later life, it's nice to stay in a nice little hotel. But yeah, there's a camping area. There's a little kind of play area. There's just a ton to do here. It's also in southern Indiana. And I want to say it's within an hour of Corydon, Indiana, another great historic southern Indiana town. Mitchell is not that far away. I'm sorry, not Mitchell. I was thinking of Salem is another historic town we've just kind of discovered recently. I grew up in Owensboro, so we were always going over to Evansville. Southern Indiana to me is just it's almost like a well-kept secret. There's a lot going on there, but you really don't know all about it. And also, this area is not, like I said, it's not far from Louisville. So it's kind of convenient to get to if you're in various parts of western and central Kentucky. And also, I was thinking about it just, as I mentioned, we were there kind of towards the end of their tourist, or right before the tourist season was going to start. But there was still quite a bit to do. And, it was kind of nice being on the trails. And, there were other people, but not many. And there was plenty of space that you could keep your distance if you wanted to, which was nice. Looks like there's a little store there for the campers. We're close to the campground. We drive by that here in a little bit. But it was really nice getting to, getting to do that little trail earlier, here in that little stream, seeing the Gus Grissom Museum, going to the Pioneer Village, and just exploring downtown Mitchell also. Just a lot going on here. And you saw some little campers and stuff going over there. And there's several different walking trails. There were some markers. I thought that was really attractive. Anyway, yeah, so that's Spring Mill State Park in Mitchell, Indiana. And I hope you like checking it out with me.